In this video, I will go over a few things you might need to think about when stacking drywall on your floor framing, not the concrete. On concrete, you can stack quite a bit more. But if you're dealing with a floor that is built for a 40 pounds per square foot load, which most of them are, and you're not interested in dealing with any type of floor joist structural failure from too much weight on top of the joist, then you shouldn't be stacking more than a 10-inch tall stack. And I'm not going to go over any of the math because someone has already done it. And are you going to really create any problems if you stack a few more sheets in there? I don't know. However, I can tell you what one of the floor truss manufacturers suggests, along with one of the drywall companies. And something that shocked me was when they mentioned that a sheet of 5/8, 4 foot by 12 foot long can weigh as much as 80 pounds. And if I have 25 of them, I have a ton, 2,000 pounds. That kind of got my attention and got me thinking about just how important a video like this could be for professional home builders as well as do-it-yourselfers. I would also recommend placing any of your stickers that are going to be on top of the floor sheathing and underneath the stack of drywall. Try to place them on top of any joist that they would be parallel to, like we have here. And it's probably not going to matter if you have a situation where the stickers are going to be running perpendicular to the floor joist, like we're looking at here. And I did see that the maximum spacing for the stickers is 28 inches. And if you are going to stack a lift of drywall on top of another lift of drywall, make sure that all of the stickers are directly above the other stickers. Otherwise, you could end up with deformities or curved sections in the drywall. Another thing that I noticed the truss manufacturer mentioned was to set the drywall directly on top of the floor sheathing with a sheet of plastic in between the top of the floor sheathing and the bottom of the drywall to prevent moisture from absorbing into the drywall. And of course, if you could fold the plastic over the drywall to protect it from any type of leaks, then that would be also beneficial. And another thing I noticed that they didn't want to see was any drywall setting on edge. Make sure that it's all flat, like we're looking at here, and not leaning up against the wall, to eliminate the possibility of it falling over and injuring someone. Next up, what if you do need to stack more than 10 inches of drywall in a certain area? Then you might need to add some shoring underneath the floor joist. And you can see here where the shoring is underneath the stack of drywall. So we're going to have it underneath the floor joist to where it's also distributing some of the weight from the drywall down through something like a post and beam type of construction. Or what I've seen a lot of people use would be these T-frames. And I've seen plenty of these things used for conventional lumber, like 2x12 or 2x14 floor joist. However, for TJIs, you might need to add some additional support. And I did notice that the floor joist manufacturer and the drywall company couldn't provide any recommended methods. I'm just showing you something that I have seen used before. I've seen both this and the T-frames used. And of course, another view of how the stickers need to be sitting on top of each other, lining up in between the lifts of drywall. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up with my interpretation of what these manufacturers are suggesting. And that would be that you could cover the area of a floor like I'm doing here, as long as the lifts are no longer than 10 inches in height and the minimum load for your floor framing is at least 40 pounds per square foot.